Welcome to our first video series. Our first session is how to help lead a child to Christ. Leading a child to Christ is one of the most valuable things you can do. But firstly, I'd love to ask you this question. What does it mean to you to see your children follow Jesus? You see, it's in thinking this through that can really help motivate us to want to be able to share Jesus and his love with our children. Now, we ourselves may have a close friendship with Jesus, and that's what we need. His passion, the excitement for him, love for him to shine in our lives, that as we reach out to our children and share this, they see our light in our lives that shines out. And hopefully this is one way that helps children come to recognise Jesus for themselves. Now, children may know stories about Jesus, but our role is to go from helping them to know about him, to knowing Jesus for themselves in their lives, to help build that close friendship and relationship with him. It's also helpful to help children to see that the Bible stories are not standalone stories, but actually each story fits together as God's big picture, God's plan for our lives. And that plan, of course, is Jesus. And as we help children to see this and to know that as they hear about these stories, they can link back to Jesus' death and resurrection. Now, it's so important to share, of course, the Easter story, and we might like to unpack this in a really visual and engaging way that helps children see what the death and resurrection is all about. But we want to go from not just telling that story to really sharing the purpose and the meaning behind the story. Why did Jesus come to die? What does that mean? How does that make a difference to us in what Jesus did? Now, you may have some great creative ways you can illustrate this message. It really helps children to understand. But I have one way that may be helpful for you if you would like an idea as to how to help children to know more. For this illustration, it's helpful to have 2 sheets of card or something similar. And on one sheet of card, have the word God, and on the other, have the word me. Now, it might be useful to place the words above you to the side. So me over to this side and God over to your other side. And preferably about 2 meters apart. Now, it could be, if you've got a smaller group of children, you might like to have these words on the floor. I like to use a stage block for this illustration, but if you do this, of course, check risk assessments and health and safety. Now, I like to stand on the one stage block by the word me and explain that this is where I am, this is where we are, and yet God is way over there. Now, there's a gap between us. You see, we can't have that close friendship with God because of this gap. And in the gap is called sin, the things that we do wrong. And it's a great opportunity to go on to explain about this. And then this is where we link the Easter story. Because when Jesus came to die and rise again, he came to take away all that sin that's in the middle. And to build a new relationship with us, a strong relationship where we can actually reach God. So then I take a bridge and have the word Jesus on it and hook the bridge from the one stage block to the other. Now, if you're doing this on the floor, you might want to take a roll of lining paper or something similar and open it out, but also have the word Jesus on it. Whatever we use, we just want to build that connection from one side to the other. And then we can use that illustration to go on to say that because Jesus died for us and came to give us that way to God, we can make that step, that journey to God. We can come back to be with God together. Now, because of that, we need to be able to invite Jesus into our lives. And we can use that then illustration to carry on and explain that meaning. And then we can say something along the lines of, when we became a Christian, we made that connection, invited him into our lives, and we walked across the bridge. In other words, we decided to follow Jesus and Jesus to lead us to God. Now, you can do this in any way you like and use that illustration, but it's great to be able to make it visual and to be able to see that connection. And then at this point, of course, it's great to ask the children, where are you at? Where are you? Are you on me? Or have you already invited Jesus into your life and you're walking with him to come to be with God? And then, where would you like to be? Where would you like to be? Still at me or journeying with Jesus? A great question to get them to think through. And then, where do we go from here? I love to use the verse John 14:6. I am the way, the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. What a powerful verse, and I love to read it as I'm walking on that bridge to share with the children. Now, of course, no matter which way you decide to illustrate the message, the important thing is, where do we go from here? Just how do we create that opportunity for our children to follow Jesus? Well, we've got 10 useful steps that may help you in the next part of the journey. Step 1. It's important for children to grasp this for themselves. We don't want them to feel pressured into making that commitment just because their friends are. Step 2. Give children an opportunity for them to be still, to think through their thoughts, their feelings, and what's going on. Step 3. Ask them to write down their questions and their thoughts. It may be useful to play music in the background to create that worshipful atmosphere as they are doing just that in writing. Step 4. Once they're ready, they need to be able to share their thoughts and discuss this in a group. Step 5. Ideally, we'd love those groups to be quite small. To have enough leaders to go round, of course, is important, but the smaller the group, the better, because it helps children to be open and to be honest without feeling pressure from large numbers. Step 6. When you feel it's right, ask the question, would you like to invite Jesus into your life? Step 7. Again, it's important to emphasize that it's okay to say no. In no way do we want to discourage our children, but we want them to be certain of what they are doing. Step 8. Don't feel despondent if a child isn't ready. It's a big step, but continue to pray for them. Continue to share Jesus and his love and the relevance of him. Step 9. For children that are ready to make this commitment, let's chat some more. Let's ask them what it means to them. We want to really make sure that they understand what they are about to do. Step 10. Lead them in prayer. Invite them to repeat after you what you say. Now, feel free to use a prayer that's helpful to you, but if you would like guidance on that, we do have a prayer in our booklets that you can get hold of. So, after we've done this and after we've helped children to invite Jesus into their lives, where do we go from here? You see, this session is really exciting, isn't it? It's exciting to lead a child to Christ. It's definitely an amazing feeling. But it doesn't stop there. We mustn't think our job is over, our job is done. We're just at the beginning. Our role now is to continue to walk with our children, to help them, to guide them, to nurture them as they continue now with their journey with Jesus. And of course, make sure to pray for them continuously.